is the new Norton team. Stuart Garner in the middle there is the man who's bought the trademark and the rights. So jobs as well in this community.
Yeah, absolutely. We're based at Donington Park. We've got a 15,000 square foot factory. We'll be moving into that next week, and we plan to create 100 jobs in the next 2 years.
So we're talking about the race bike to be.
Stuart Garner, CEO of Norton Racing Limited.
Yes, hello.
Thank you for joining us. Please tell us about your latest.
Yeah, this is what we see here is the Norton NRV588. It's the prototype that was built with the National Motorcycle Museum last year, with Brian Crichton doing all the development work. The chassis and the swing arm have been fabricated at Spondon Engineering. What we want to do now with Norton as we go racing is to put the fun, the passion and the flair back on the racetrack with a real historic British brand.
Now, how did you manage to get hold, or when did you get hold of the
Yeah,
Norton brand?
it's an interesting story. I've known Stuart Tiller, director at Spondon Engineering, for around 20 years. And he approached me in late '06 to look at the potential of his partner was retiring from the business, and the potential for me to buy out the partner and then run Spondon together with Stuart.
Now, Stuart, as a kid, do you remember when you first knew about Norton? I mean, was that one of your
This is
pin-ups?
quite funny because I'm looking around and I can see the guys that I used to pay £20 to go and watch. And Trevor Nation's just stood over there, Ian Simpson's been here earlier. And I can remember stood at Donington Park, for example, in the 80s and again in the 90s, watching the JPS Nortons race round with Trevor flames throwing out the back of the exhaust and wheelies down every straight.
Awesome. Stellar. Yeah. No, really good.
Playing off he's even better than that.
Yeah, you look at the golden.
Yeah.
I want to go on it even more now, so.
Tell me what we've got here.
Probably one of the best bikes that I've ever rode, one of the most exciting projects that I've ever seen, and involved with proper people. It's just a nice bit of kit, quite a fun bit of kit to ride, and I'm quite looking forward to it, to be honest.
Lee, you've actually ridden this very model I've got my hands on.
Yeah, I mean, I did a lot of testing with Brian last year.
They're cleaning the grid.
Talk me through some of the nuts and bolts and the wingdings. What's special? What have we got here?
It's, you know, obviously Spondon make the chassis. You know,
right.
you know, everything's made in the UK, which is quite unique nowadays, which also makes it quite exciting to be involved with. Obviously, Brian's worked his magic. I mean, Spondon obviously make the manufacture of the chassis, the swing arm. Brian's worked his magic in the engine and the electronics and all the stuff that lives under here, like the injection.
Brian Crichton, finally I get to talk to you, the man who created this baby.
Yeah.
Tell me, how did it all get started?
Well, this bike was a move on really from 1994. We'd actually won the championship more or less every year we'd been racing. 1994, we won the championship again, and for 1995 I'd already developed a new bike, which is this one. I mean, the big advantage of the carbon now, because of the Norton relaunch, we're actually building some more of them. So this is the prototype, and there'll be some more of this and eventually a road version of it.
Lovely. Easy's always good. We're sane.
Let's find out more about the Norton return to the Isle of Man from the Managing Director, Stuart Gardner, and also their rider, Michael Dunlop.
Last month we managed to acquire the brand from the States and bring that back to the UK. And we've got some bikes under development that we needed to get the brand to publicise and go forwards with. And as we got the bikes ready and got the brand sorted out, who's going to ride it? And we had a chat and had a look around, and there's Michael looking for a ride, and it just seemed to fit perfectly together to get a Dunlop and a Norton back at the island.
It's going to create an awful lot of interest, that, isn't it? People's memories will go back to those black JPS bikes.
Yeah, well, I hope we don't ask for too much in the first year. We've not been there for a while, and it's going to take us a couple of years to get up to speed and put some results together. But
so it's a longer-term project,
yeah,
this?
Absolutely. We need 2, 3, 4 years to get back up to pace. We've got to remember that some of the bikes out there have been developed continually over the last several years. And we're pretty well coming from a standing start now, having not been there for some 15 years. So it's going to take us a few years to get back to speed, but really looking forward to giving it a go.
Looking forward to seeing it as well. Let's have a word with Michael then, as the rider. And Michael, quite naturally, you're following in your father's footsteps, Norton and Dunlop reunited.
Yeah, well, as I said, Stuart brought out a brand new Norton, and I heard of it yesterday, and the first thing sprung back up was the 90, you know, and I said to myself, well, this would be nice, and sat down with Stuart, and he got in touch with me, and we sat down and we talked, you know, and after a few pints of Guinness, I think everything seemed all right. Like we were
6 pints, I'm told.
I don't know, but there was a deal signed after the first couple anyway.